All right, welcome back. It is the Vegas Take. Sharp and Shapiro, Chris Wynn, our in-studio guest. Chris was just saying, yeah, I am a little bit more agitated
he's
today
very
than
agitated
usual.
today.
I am.
You're giving a little extra oomph to the callers back and forth, and look, it's great. It's great commentary. It's very entertaining.
Chris, if
but there is a little sense of agitation on your part.
If there's one thing I
normal,
don't tolerate, it's racism. If there's one thing I don't tolerate is that sort of stuff. I don't like, especially from our elected officials. And by the way, it doesn't in there. This Texas council member, have you heard of this guy, Scott Dunn? This doofus. Keep in mind, he's an elected official, and he calls Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez a bimbo on his social media. Then he gets rid of it. Then he erases it. Then he erases his Facebook page. This is someone who has been elected into office. Look, I am not an Ocasio-Cortez fan policy per se. I think she's extremely hot. I would love to take her out on a date, but I think her views are way too far to the left for me, and that's fine in regards to Cortez. But as an elected official, to call her a bimbo, what does that make you? What does it have to do with whether she is a female or a male? I just don't understand this stuff. And then we have these issues in Virginia, and it just seems to be getting worse and worse for Justin Fairfax. Another woman now has come forward, allegedly committing, saying that he committed sexual misconduct. Let me ask you guys a question, okay? And this is a Democrat, so don't call me a snowflake. If one of you, God forbid, or me, somebody accused one of us of committing a sexual assault. You know what I would do? And I'm not even an elected official. I would hire an attorney, and I would file immediately a counter lawsuit against her for defamation if it wasn't true. So why is it that they hide behind their shadows and they just deny it, and they won't talk to the media, and they won't file counter lawsuits? These people act like they are guilty.
In this day and age, with how fast,
hold on, Jason, or JD, your mic's not on. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, in this day and age, with how fast information travels, with Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, the newspaper, all the articles in the newspaper now are on the internet. You have to defend yourself almost immediately if you know that you are not guilty.
I agree.
You absolutely have to.
So you agree with what I'm saying?
100%.
Yes, you have to be aggressive with it, right? Let's take a few quick phone calls, but let's go to Chris. Go ahead.
Well, there's this thing called due process that we have here in the United States, and in regards to anybody being accused of sexual assault, we just went through it with Justice Kavanaugh. Okay, and a lot of people that are either they have an opinion from a political standpoint, they want to jump to conclusions immediately before there is any type of due process. Yeah. And that's exactly what's happening right now. Look, Justin Fairfax could absolutely be guilty of sexual assault. And if that's the case, you would hope that justice is served and that he's bounced out of there and is no longer serving in office. But the fact of the matter is, I think everybody needs to take a step back and relax and say, whoa, due process is fine. And I don't want to hear from all the people who, on the Kavanaugh thing saying, oh, they're Democrats, though, that were ready to hang Justice Kavanaugh to dry right away. No, the rational people out there, the people that matter, all right, we're saying due process. We have to, we have to hear what she has to say and go from there.
But the problem is, you can't, due process aside, right now with social media, with how fast information travels,
defamation.
People are trials. I mean, like, social media holds court for people, and all these people come together through groupthink and decide whether somebody is guilty or not, and whether it's true or isn't true. If the pressure is high enough and aggressive enough, I mean, yes, you have to respond to some degree.
Me and JD agree on some things. We don't always disagree. We do have a couple of callers on the line. We have one line open at 257-5396. Again, that number to call, 257-5396. We have one local celebrity waiting on hold as well. But let's get to Lenny first. Lenny, thank you for calling into the Vegas Take. How are you?
Hey, guys, riddle me this. So you have the governor in Virginia.
Yes.
Who is a doctor who makes this big thing about killing babies, that wears blackface and with a hood or whatever, okay, admits to it. Then you have the attorney general in Virginia,
yes,
who also admits to wearing blackface.
Yes.
Now you have a black guy who's the assistant governor, and he's getting accused by two women of rape. So now why does the black guy automatically got to resign or be impeached, but yet the two white guys that actually admitted to kind of being.
Can I answer your question? Can I answer your question? First of all, your question makes no sense. Sexual assault is very different than doing blackface. They are both horrible, but they are different acts. Sexual assault.
You're the one that just said you weren't into racism. Neither am I.
Neither am I. But we're trying. You're just comparing the two. Okay, if you commit.
I know, but this guy.
Can I answer your question? I'm trying to answer your question. Sexual assault, you can go to jail. If I went in the middle of the street and painted my face black, I would be probably labeled a racist, rightfully so. But guess what? It's not against the law. There are two different entities you're talking about.
Now,
they're both horrible.
Now being in the Ku Klux Klan is against the law, but that's very hard to prove.
Lenny, they're just two. I agree, JD. These are just two different entities. Now, I don't. First of all, Lenny, let me be very clear. If you didn't already hear, the governor should step down. He's a complete doofus. Okay, he's a moron.
The whole thing about killing the babies and stuff, I just wasn't with that.
Well, now I agree with you, Lenny. I think all three of them should step down, Lenny, and I think Fairfax is guilty.
I'm also not with that.
Yeah. Lenny, thank you for the call. We appreciate it.
Great call, Lenny.
I just think, I'm not trying to compare the two here, but they both should step down. Guess who we have on the line, guys? Friend of the program. He's going to be opening up for a very famous magician. Not that he's not a famous magician himself. The one and only Mike Hammer, who does a show at the Four Queens, headlining there Tuesday through Saturday. Mike, thank you for calling in. Are you sure you want to be a part of this discussion?
No, what if you commit sexual assault while in blackface?
Then you're pretty
free.
much
Then you're free. No, then you're free. You don't have to spend
okay.
any. Yeah, you're free.
You'll end up being the Pope. That's what you'll end up being.
Oh my God! You guys, this is an odd day for callers. I'm listening to some of these guys are just out of their mind. I mean, you usually get some. These that 2 guys ago before the break, what a nutcase.
Hey, Mike, do you think that Will is actually a member of the Ku Klux Klan?
I'll say yes, I guess. Why not, right?
Mike, have you ever?
Sure.
Can I ask you a question? If somebody wearing,
he got his stories mixed up.
If somebody wearing,
go ahead.
If somebody wearing a white cape and a Ku Klux Klan outfit wanted to buy VIP tickets to your show, would you allow them in your showroom?
That's a great question.
Well, is it a regular bed sheet or is it a customized outfit from the South? No, I don't think we'd allow that in our showroom.
That's nice to hear. I'm glad to hear that. Good.
Yeah.
I'm glad to hear that.
But,
you're a model citizen, a model magician.
A model magician. So were you guys talking Oscars today?
No, but if you'd like to bring up, the Oscars. By the way, I thought. I'm sorry, I'm drawing a blank here. The woman who hosted it,
Alicia Keys.
She is unbelievable.
Unreal. She was great last night.
Fantastic.
Yeah, she really is. Yeah, she's incredible. Incredible looking too, might I add.
What, you mean the Grammys?
Or the Grammys. We were talking about the Grammys, not the Oscars.
The Grammy. Oh,
Mike, you're screwing me up, man.
Yeah.
I am.
We all know what you're talking about, Hammer. We know the deal.
I don't know what I'm talking about, so I'm glad you guys do.
Yes, go ahead.
But no. There was one of the questions was, and I had some friends, some African American friends of mine. They're a little upset because they had a tribute to the Motown, Motown tribute, and they had said that they were disappointed because they had people that were not African American giving the tribute. So I don't know if that's. I didn't know if that topic came up with you guys.
I actually did not hear that, but if that is true, I don't know. How do you guys feel about that?
There's people that are from Michigan.
I mean, Chris is from Detroit, so he's better to answer this question than I am.
I don't have I don't have a problem with the fact they don't have to be African American to appreciate what Motown has been influential in the music business and in American culture. I mean, look, to me, I don't necessarily know why people would be quote unquote offended because of the race of people who are actually presenting
Black History Month, and then I mean, no, you saved your show from being racist, Chris. So that was a good call right there.
He does a great job. Why don't you tell people, Mike, you're eventually going to be too big for the show because you're going to be going on tour with Mr. Chris Angel. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that? That's more important.
Yeah, well, I don't have the specifics actually as far as the dates, but it's supposed to be end of May. But I do have something interesting I do want to announce, and this is right up your alley. But I will be touring with Chris Angel, and you guys are going to hear this first. Nobody else. We haven't even told anybody yet. Not Chris. This is something separate. But Memorial Day weekend, I'm having a celebrity poker tournament at Binion's, the original World Series of poker, casino. So That's going to be happening.
I have a feeling I'll be playing in that. My dream is to be at the final table, down to 2 players, me and Mike Hammer, and he doesn't deal the cards, so he can't cheat. That is my dream.
That might be your dream. We are getting someone else that you might want to go up against.
Who's
can
that?
Bring part of your show to him. James Woods is going to be there.
Oh, wow. He is very – I would love to have James on the show.
Going, not political.
Yeah. I was just going to say.
James Woods has an IQ of 170, Mike.
According to a Republican, he has an IQ of 170.
I knew it was pretty high. Is that what it is?
It's the highest in Hollywood, like by a lot. He's an absolute genius.
Well, there you go, Brian Shapiro and Chris. So maybe you'll be up against him at the end. He won last year in the tournament.
I would love to.
I'll give you more details that comes in.
I'm going to tell you right now. If I'm heads up against Jimmy Woods, I am going to bring a Hillary Clinton hat and I'm going to wear it. I promise you, I will torture him if that happens. I will absolutely torture him.
And Mike, you know what's going to be great? Captain Sarcasm over here, Brian Shapiro on the poker table. You know, he's going to be slamming his hand on the table, saying, "Nice hand, sir. Nice hand, sir. Well played. Well played."
Yeah. Good.
And I guarantee that he will get Mr. James Woods all kinds of fired up if they do end up head to head for the championship.
I'll just ask him how many Oscars he's won. I'll let him answer that one.
Brian is actually an excellent poker player, but he does get a little bit angry. You guys should have a show just showing Brian, a reality show with just Brian at the poker table.
Be a hit
show. How many poker tables did you get kicked out of, Brian?
How many poker tables or how many casinos?
How many poker games have you been kicked out of?
I've never been kicked out of a casino, but I have been kicked off of games, I would say, several times. That's happened.
I was with you a couple of times.
One time I was with you. That is correct. That is true. But I did win money that night, and I got a lot of people upset. So I don't feel cry me a river. I don't feel bad.
Ryan antagonizes the poker players.
Well, what a shocker! Based on the way I treat the callers, that shouldn't shock anybody.
Yeah. But I wanted to break that news. I'll give you details as we get the roster together. But
thank you.
That'll be a neat thing. That's Memorial Day weekend for veterans. It's to raise money for homeless veterans, actually. So.
Let me ask you another question, Mike. I just want to throw something else at you here. If you were accused of sexual assault and it was a woman, and I know you never would, but I'm just saying hypothetically, if you were accused of sexual assault and a woman was trying to defamation of character, what would you do?
You have to get ahead of it. That's a tough one. Because sometimes they say nothing, and other people say get ahead of it. First of all, I would never do that. But I think you do have to speak out pretty quickly. I would imagine.
Mm-hmm.
One of the problems is, and you guys didn't bring this up, but one of the things that people are up against, there's actually organizations that what they do is they purposely seek out, like say you get accused by someone, even a domestic dispute type of situation, they'll go and try and find every single person that you were ever with, back all the way to high school. They just start looking, to damage your reputation because they make money off, off of that negative press that way because they'll go and sell it to these bigger companies. So I don't know. I guess you just have to. I'm careful all the time. I mean, I watch my back constantly because you don't know. I don't know. People are nuts. You've dated someone nuts. People that are nuts.
I brought plenty of them to your show. So yeah, you've definitely been a part of that. Before we let you go, Mike, why don't you give us a little bit of plug on your show? How do you get tickets? Give us the information.
It's at the Four Queens Hotel. You can actually go to MikeHammerShow.com. On there Tuesday through Saturday, 7 p.m. It's a fun show, good times. Pick on the audience a little bit. Probably get shut down soon. We'll see what happens.
We've learned something new though. If you're a member of the Ku Klux Klan, don't tell anybody, and don't bring that outfit to the show, and don't wear blackface. Yes, and don't wear blackface. All right, Mike. Thanks for coming on. We appreciate it.
Take care, you guys.
All right.
Thanks a lot, Mikey.
Thanks, Mike.
The number to call, and that is a great show, by the way. Check it out. Mike Hammer's the best. 257-5396 is the number to call. 702-257-5396. Our next caller, Mary, has been waiting patiently on hold. Mary, how are you?
Good, guys. How are you?
Doing good. What's on your mind?
I wanted to bring up an issue that
Hold on, Mary. I'm sorry to interrupt. Can you lower your radio?
Okay. Is that better?
Please turn it. Yeah. Okay. Go ahead, Mary. Yep.
Okay. I have a problem with all the Me Too movement thing. So my problem with it is the timing, like the gentleman just mentioned, trying to ruin people's reputations, like the timing of when they report that things happen. like it's usually at the pinnacle of someone's career or at the end of their career. Like, why now? I always have a problem with that. And although there's a statute of limitations as to when it can become a criminal case, why try to ruin people's careers at a certain time with allegations that may or may not be true? The timing is always bad to me.
And I totally agree. And you're kind of right with the statute of limitations. That's a very good point. What people do is when something comes out, when someone's about to do something big in their career, the timing is it's coincidentally very, very terrible. But whether they're accused of a crime or not, if a big enough public uproar takes place via the internet, somebody has to respond at this point. And then so the statute of limitations goes out the window. And whether they're accused of a crime or convicted of a crime or not, they have to resign or they have to make a move. And that's why social media is such a dangerous, dangerous tool when it comes to defamation.
Yes. And that was one problem I had. And I'm not saying that he was completely innocent, but with the Judge Kavanaugh, like, why would you wait until this man is getting ready to go to the Supreme Court? He has lived his life and had an entire career before this. And then I think it was, a political play from the Democratic Party trying to come out and, point out things that he did. As
Mary, can I pull back?
And the same could be said for Stormy Daniels and Donald Trump.
Mary, can I pull back? 2 words, Bill Cosby. All these women came out years after. And guess what? Guess where he is right now, Mary? He's behind bars because he is a scumbag. He is a rapist. He belongs behind bars. Now, I understand what you're saying. In a perfect world, I wish these women or men would come out as soon as it happens. But guess what?
Yes.
They have their reasons. And I don't want to be in their shoes. They're embarrassed. They're afraid. In certain situations, a lot of these people have power. And these people are afraid to go after these men of power. So while I understand what you're saying, and like I said, I wish they would come out right away, we don't live in that perfect world, and I think we do have to take what they say seriously. But with that being said, I think if it's wrong, and if someone comes out and says something that is not true, you have to countersue and go after them for defamation.
Right, and I want to make one more quick point. I'll let you guys go. If Bill Cosby had assaulted my mother, the Cosby Show would have been canceled. There wouldn't have been no Cosby Show.
Yeah, and I wish there never was, Mary, to be honest. Good call. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot, Mary. You can't compare Bill Cosby to Kavanaugh and Fairfax.
I never did.
Okay.
I'm just making.
But they did on Saturday Night Live. They tried to
Cosby,
make it funny on Saturday Night
Live. Cosby
was
way over the top.
JD.
His situation was so much worse.
JD, I never compared the two. All I was trying to say was that when someone comes forward years later, just because it's years later doesn't mean you can't take it seriously. Doesn't mean it can't happen. That's all I'm trying to say, JD.
But I want to beg to differ on JD. You made the comment about Stormy Daniels and that situation, saying how it's in no way similar to any sexual assault case. Because in regards to the Stormy Daniels case, it's about a public servant, Donald Trump. It's about the president of the United States or a guy running for president. All right, that's trying to build a character, a character kind of deal with him. It was more about it. It had nothing to do with any criminal situation.
But she was trying to defame his character to make him less approachable to the public.
That's arguable.
But the whole purpose of him denying it is because he was running for president. He didn't want to have that come out. That's why he was denying it.
And he also called her horse face, among other things. So they both went at it with each other. The bottom line, the guy had unprotected sex with a woman, very shortly after he had a child.
Which was, 13, 14 years ago?
Yeah, I don't care what it was. It just shows his character. That's all.
He's running for president.
Yeah, let's go to Fernando. Fernando, thank you for calling into the Vegas Take. How are you?
What's up, Fernando?
Hey, fellas. How's it going?
Good.
We're to talk UNLV.
Pocahontas, she saved a white man from execution back in 1700s. So President Trump should be thankful, and he should go to her statue and kiss her feet. Anyway, have you guys gone to see the UNLV hockey team?
Where do they play? Where the Knights practice, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. I have not. I wouldn't be opposed to do that. How many people are they getting at those games? More than a UNLV basketball program?
Oh,
about 1,000 plus.
Oh, wow. Good for them. Yeah. I'm happy to hear that, Fernando.
And if you want to find a girlfriend, you got to go there. Hey, that's where all the fans are going.
That's a really good tip.
They're not going to the football games.
Yeah,
Fernando, please repeat that for our listeners. What did you just say?
Women like the high stick. That's what I heard.
I'm sorry, what did you say?
Go ahead.
Repeat that. Where do men go to find a girlfriend?
The City National Arena, where the Knights practice and the hockey team, the UNLV team plays.
My ex-girlfriend would always put me in the penalty box 2 minutes for high sticking. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Fernando. Go ahead.
But yeah, that's where they're going, because I asked some of the students that were there at the games, and I go, this is where we go. We don't go to the basketball games. We don't go to the football games because they're boring. The games are boring. And hockey started in August.
It's college hockey, NHL, AHL. I've always said the best sport in the world to watch in person is hockey, Fernando, so we agree.
Yeah, so the UNLV administration has to rethink things about the future.
Hey, Fernando, quick question for you. Did you get to watch the AAFL this weekend at all?
I did.
What are your thoughts on the Alliance of American Football League?
Yeah, I liked it. It was pretty good. I picked 4 in a row, so I was happy.
Always love it when you call in, Fernando. Thank you for your perspective. I will be picking up chicks, hopefully, at the next UNLV hockey game. Thank you so much, Fernando. Appreciate that.
Hey, JD, they had betting lines on the AAF?
I will
assume
not.
They do,
Yes,
right?
yes.
I know nothing about this league. But
JD needs to be
I'm sure they do have betting lines. Yeah, I'm just not touching them yet.
Number to call, 257-5396, 702-257-5396. There's a question I should throw out there. What do you think are the best places to pick up chicks in Las Vegas? I won't ask that question to our next caller, though. But Josh, thanks for calling in. How are you?
What's up, Josh?
Hey, I'm doing good, guys. Real quick, though, best place to pick up chicks?
Yes.
The Trump rally.
Why is that?
Because that's when you're going to find a good one.
Well, if you get them knocked up, though, there's
That
no
way-
chance of an abortion.
way
We know
you
that.
You're not dating a Caitlyn Jenner when you pick up a girl at a Trump rally.
Okay, fair enough.
But I'm not going to run into AOC at one of those Trump rallies. So that's one negative right there.
I think that's a good thing for you,
Chris.
Chris.
Bug-eyed congresswomen stay away from the Trump rallies.
Are you telling me you wouldn't make out with Cortez, Josh? Be honest. Are you
Honestly?
Yeah, be honest. Forget about her politics. You're telling me she's not an attractive woman. She's not good looking enough for you. Come on, forget about her politics.
The red lipstick that she has going on has a little bit of a thing, but those eyes, though, man, it's like everyone, someone's telling her surprise at your birthday.
Nobody said when you made out with her you had to have your eyes wide open. You could shut those eyes.
Hey, Josh, I like you. You're a good caller.
Thanks.
Go ahead, Josh.
Hey, I just wanted to touch on something. I've only listened to you guys' show a few times, and I know it's both a right-wing guy and a left-wing guy. There's a little bit of an anti-Trump sentiment going on.
I'm not on the left, Josh, with all due respect. JD does lean to the right. Chris leans to the left. I have voted for Mitt Romney. I did not vote for Donald Trump or Hillary, and I have voted for Barack Obama. I'd like to consider myself in the middle, and people.
Brian just flies above the spectrum in a drone and just picks and decides what he wants to attack.
If I flew above the spectrum in a drone, I would look at Cortez when she's in the shower. Go ahead, Josh.
Oh, come on.
Yes, I would.
You're trying to tell me that you're a middle-of-the-road guy and you got pictures of Cortez in your bathroom.
Well, because she's attractive. I didn't tell you I had pictures of Hillary Clinton in my bathroom.
Hey, if there's
you love Thunder Thighs 2016.
No, I don't. No, I don't, Josh. I think Barack Obama is very handsome. Go ahead.
What I originally wanted to say, guys, is I'll let some other callers keep going. Is all the anti-Trumpness that I hear in your show. I'll say it that way. Is I see 2020 going the same way 2016 is. The Democrats or anti-Trumpers, however you want to label them, you guys refuse to look at yourselves to make the changes. Why are all these people calling up and defending some indefensible things with Trump? And it's you guys have, or at least the Democrats, they're talking about babies being born alive and killing them, and you've just gone crazy. AOC, Alexandria Cortez. I mean, she wants to do this crazy green initiative. It's insane.
I will say this, Josh, the Green New Deal is terrifying. And it would be, if it actually happened, it would be such a bad thing for Las Vegas.
It would.
It would be. I mean, basically for any major tourist city across the United States, it would be a terrible thing.
I want Chris Wynn to respond to this, but before he responds, I just want to say this, Josh. Okay, for the record, I'm not who you are talking about, okay? I never said Donald Trump was not going to be elected in 2020. It doesn't mean I can't stand the things he does every day. It doesn't mean I don't think he's just a terrible human being and a used car salesman. Sure, has some of his policies work? Absolutely. But it's not an excuse to treat the way he treats certain people and say the things he does every day.
No, I'm not even trying to defend what he's done or things that he says.
Yes.
Like I said, there's a lot of people calling in, and they are defending things that he says which are indefendable.
I agree, Josh. Yes, I understand.
But why anti-Trumpers, why haven't you guys switched your positions. I mean, to look inwards on yourself and to say, wow, what have I done to make this many people want to defend Trump and push them that way? It's just nothing is going to change.
All right, let's let
a anti-Trumper or never Trumper, as I am, Josh, make a statement and ask you a question. I'll ask you a very quick question, a very simple one, because you're saying that 2020 is going to be going the same as 2016. Is that right? You think that's the case?
As of right now, that's what I see happening.
Okay, I have a quick, very concise question for you. How is that going to happen, given that President Trump, and this is a fact, okay, has not expanded his base one iota since he got elected in 2016. He's still sitting at just below 40%. He has been at below 40% and lower throughout his entire presidency. He makes no effort whatsoever to make an expansion on the base or to unite people or to bring in Democrats, independents who might not have an allegiance to Democrats and Republican never-Trumpers. How is he possibly going to get reelected in 2020 if he is actually losing support throughout his presidency?
Okay, this is exactly what I'm talking about.
What?
You say this is a fact.
It is.
No, it's not. Today. Rasmussen has him at 50%.
Come on. No, look, Josh, Rasmussen, really? You're going to mention that? Rasmussen as a poll? You have to absolutely, positively be kidding me. Okay?
It's all about the CUN bang politics poll.
You say this is what you're talking about. This is what I'm talking about. There is this. Dude, stop telling me when water's not wet, okay? And when the sky is not blue. This is completely ridiculous.
Are you telling me, going by the same polls that said Hillary was 99% sure going to win, those are the polls that were cited as fact?
No.
Rasmussen's the only company that still does daily presidential tracking. So that's what I'm going by. Gallup got out of the game a little over a year ago, I think. So that's what I'm using.
So what I just went on a diatribe about he hasn't built his base. You're trying to refute
diatribe it was.
Yes, and so now you're trying to refute that by telling me that he has expanded his base. Are you telling me he's expanded his base? Are you telling me that there's more people now in America than in 2016 that support the president? Is that what you're trying to tell me?
Okay, if Rasmussen is no good, then what about last week, the CBS poll that said 76% agreed with what he said?
With the poll, and nobody, a lot of rational Americans couldn't make sense of that. They're like, the guy has no support. But look, you know what? It was a nice speech. That's why there were parts of the speech that were good, and so there were people that approved of the speech.
Let's let JD go in here.
All right, Josh, I agree. I think 2020 is a landslide because the Democratic Party, they're too thin at this point. Joe Biden is not going to win anybody anything ever, and their politics are going so more left.
Let me interject.
Than they already were, and it's not going to help anybody.
Now JD has his opinions. That's fine, and Chris has his opinions. I'd like to think of myself as more in the middle, Josh. I'm going to give you the most basic answer I can. I think the majority of Americans that vote are dumb. Okay, people are dumb. And I'm not calling you dumb, Josh, and I'm not saying every Trump supporter's dumb. Okay, but I'm saying a lot of people in this country are dumb. They will hear Donald Trump say we're going to build a wall and Mexico's going to pay for it. They will vote for him just on that. Many people will vote for him because he was in The Apprentice. Maybe people will vote for him because they think he's this monster billionaire businessman who's a genius who has never done anything wrong in his life, okay? The bottom line is people are dumb. They will watch a campaign ad, trash another person, and they will vote for someone based on that campaign ad. I have no faith in the American people. I think the majority of Americans are stupid, and I think there should be an IQ test for someone to vote. I've always felt that way. I will continue to feel that way, and as long as people are dumb in this country, I won't put it past anybody to vote for any politician.
And I will say this, I don't think that any Democrat that's been listed as a potential presidential candidate has a chance against Trump. Who might is The Rock, a Kanye West.
That's what I was just going to say.
An Instagram celebrity, somebody with an Oprah, somebody like that is the only person that I think could actually possibly dethrone Trump at this point.
So, JD, you just made Brian's point about how all Americans are idiots.
I'm not disagreeing with Brian.
You're talking about celebrity being the main...
I'm not saying they're idiots. I'm just saying right now with social media, you can get in front of people's faces so quickly and so effectively and so often that whether call it being an idiot, call it being brainwashed, but Trump is not going to lose anybody that isn't a a monster through social media at this point. There's just no chance.
I mean, like, talking about this a year and 10 months out is pretty much ridiculous. Making predictions.
He changed the game by leveraging Twitter to win the presidency.
The only point I was making was that he has not built his support one iota, and that's my. I never said that he's not going to get reelected. I think it's highly improbable that he gets reelected. But the fact of the matter is, he got elected in 2016, and there are a number of reasons for it. You guys have brought out a couple of them, but there are a number of reasons why he was elected president. It wasn't just
he's not going to lose to a politician. He might lose to an Instagram celebrity.
Well, we'll see. I mean, you said possible. Joe Biden. Joe Biden hasn't even declared yet. So I mean, the whole thing with Biden, that's kind of fascinating to me. Is you'd have two old white guys going at it.
Can I tell you how, JD? Tell me JD, if you agree with this, or both you guys. If Kim Kardashian, or you mentioned Kanye West, or Paris Hilton. Do you realize all the Twitter followers they have? If somebody like that even tried,
I'm telling you, I think The Rock. If The Rock, he has 127 million followers.
But you guys,
if he actually declared for the presidency, he might give Trump a serious run for his money.
You guys are absolutely making Brian Shapiro's point that he just made, and are we really that shallow in American culture right now, where we're talking about people have a better chance than actual stout politicians who have been in the game for a long time of winning? When you're talking about The Rock and Oprah Winfrey and celebrities,
it's just
that's how it makes our country look shallow.
The game has changed.
As pointed out, dumb.
The game has changed. Social media has changed the game. Bottom line.
I see what you're saying, but that still is not. That's not good, man. If we're talking about politics,
I'm not saying it's good.
We're just saying it could happen.
But it's reality.
Yes, I agree. It is absolutely reality. I went way past our break there because that was a very interesting conversation. I enjoyed it very much so. The number to call, 257-5396, 702-257-5396, because you want to be part of the conversation. When we come back, it was another comment after a UNLV loss that you're not going to believe by our head basketball coach. We'll get to that when we come back. You're listening to The Vegas Take on the all-new 101.5 FM, 720 AM, KDWN.